Afternoon, travelers. It is May 31st. I cannot believe it. Today is the last day of May 2016. And since yesterday was a holiday here in the States, we're going to take this reading. This is the another Casanova reading. And we're going to extend it, let's say from actually Sunday, the 29th of May, right up to the new moon of June 5th. June 5th, I think the new moon occurs in the European time zone. And here in the States, we will be getting that new moon on the 6th. As we know, new moons are all about beginnings. It is a culmination of the full moon cycle that you were on from last month. Hopefully you were able to maybe perhaps see your way clear in whatever challenges you may have been faced with. And now the new moon comes to give us a fresh opportunity or a fresh start. So this is a general reading. The messages will not resonate with everyone. And again, this is a time frame for May 29th. I'm going to backdate it up until Sunday, June 5th. Cannot believe we're already in the middle of 2016. All right. Wow, the card has made another appearance. Wow, there are two queens here. And the death card. Let me take a look. There are two queens here. There's the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups. And at the top of the spread, we have the King of Pentacles. All right. The cards are the focus in the center, the Four of Coins. Then we have the Page of Swords, the Seven of Cups, Justice, the Queen of Wands, the Page of Cups, the Seven of Swords, the Queen of Cups, and then the Death card. So whatever this situation is, and honestly, it's kind of odd because it's a week, right? 7 days. And I do have these two sevens here. And so I don't know if something is going to be ending in one respect and a beginning, because we know that's what death brings about. Death is an ending in one sense and then a beginning in another sense. It can be a transformation of a situation. So whatever the situation is, it appears that it involves one man and two women. And there is some type of stability surrounding the situation, something stable. We could say, in a sense, it might be a stagnant energy where it's not really moving, it's not positive, it's not negative, it's rather static. This could also be a financial issue for this King of Pentacles, because we see him here holding the one pentacle, and here we would assume that this is the same man who is counting. But what's odd about the card is that he's so focused on counting his money that he does not see the woman sitting next to him. This could either indicate someone who's either very, very busy, or has, in a sense, become so focused on the material that he is ignoring the beauty, literally, right around him. And we will take this naked female as an allegorical meaning of beauty, okay? But I have the Page of Swords here. So we start and we work this way through the spread. And we know that pages, the swords are all about communication and thoughts. And in a sense, this particular page is someone who is kind of sense he's on his guard. Even though his sword is at rest, perhaps this is an indication that the person is not communicating, or maybe that they are thinking about something. The sword is at rest. Nevertheless, in the space of an eye, he can bring the sword up and either continue to communicate, either sharply, clearly, truly, or he can simply cut the head off. But it is though he's facing this woman. Again, we have this idea of someone watching this woman. And again, I would take it that there's a distance between this king and whomever this woman represents. And I say that because, again, as I said in the other spread, you would assume that if this is in his own home and the woman is comfortable enough to be naked there, that would indicate perhaps have some kind of intimacy between the two of them, where such by maybe he may not need to knock on the door. She looks quite comfortable in her surroundings. So I would tend to think that there's distance between the two, and he is reflected back in this situation. I don't know if that means that he's looking back at himself over this situation. But there's some kind of balance here because the Justice card has come out. And justice is all about reaping what you sow. It is about those people who have been upstanding and correct in their thoughts, actions, behavior, and speech shall be, in a sense, vindicated. And those people who have not will be, quote unquote, justly rewarded. Now I have this Queen of Wands, and this represents a fire sign person, but yet if you look at this woman looks rather shy. She is not facing us fully. She has, you can't quite see, she has a look somewhat not of confidence, but of being not very self-assured. And in a sense, that is the meaning of this card. This is the shy woman, even though she's represented by the wands. And typically we know wands are fiery and passionate. But maybe what this is saying about this person, if it is not a fire sign, then it is someone who evokes a lot of passion with this king, and that they themselves, perhaps this woman who is not a fire sign, but herself has a lot of passion. And there is something in the balance here. The three cards are the Four of Coins, the Justice, and this Queen of Wands. And then we move down here. And this is the only person besides the Justice card. And well, this page is unmasked. Okay. And he is the Page of Cups. And this is someone offering, sincerely offering their emotions. Yet it is the exit card in the spread. It is leaving out. And it mirrors this Seven of Swords. And in this deck, the Seven of Swords, these are two people hatching a plot, or having negotiations, or having communications. We see three swords facing one way, and then four swords, I'm sorry, facing one way on the wall, and then three swords down here, as if the plans are still being, I don't know, hatched or thought about or discussed, perhaps. But yet in the center, we have this Queen of Cups, either a water sign person or someone who embodies the qualities of a water sign, someone who may be soft and gentle. But yet what's funny is that this Queen of Wands looks very shy, whereas this Queen of Cups looks extremely, I don't know, open, more outgoing perhaps, but yet she is fully masked. She has a half mask. Now, in relation to what is happening here, the two pages with the justice in between them speaks to a balance between emotions and communications. That's what that line says. But yet, I think that's not necessarily true, because this guy is just not paying any attention. He's completely focused on something else. With both queens here, and then the two sevens between this that are separated by this Queen of Wands. Sevens are, yes, they are a magical number, but at the same time, sevens speak to conflict. Fives are changes, sevens are conflict. It also warns of false friends and false situations. I also have the two swords cards juxtaposing, mirroring each other. Someone perhaps not communicating or has been waiting on communications, and then I don't know what this is here in the center, because this card speaks about greed is what it is, and it's being so wrapped up in material things that to the detriment of other things in your life. But it is someone who's focused on something else. But I guess at some point, what this card is saying is that there will be negotiations coming. Maybe with both queens, maybe with one queen. Maybe the two sevens here is speaking that this queen is a false queen. And this is someone who is, if not trying to maintain balance between thoughts and emotions, maybe holding them in the balance. The king, the two queens, and the justice card. Even though he's watching this woman, and this is a seven, which can also indicate some confusion, perhaps. Well, at least that the person hasn't stepped forward yet. It could be that there is something else that needs to be worked on before the offer comes. But nevertheless, there is going to be a change, the ending of one thing and the beginning of something else. Now, I can't tell you if this is the end of one of the two queens. I can't even really tell you if this is the same queen. It could be two aspects of one person. So what I'm going to do, that's what puzzles me the most, is I'm going to take a look. And they're all different suits. Earth, fire, and water. They're different suits. Now, there's only one actual major arcana, and that is the Justice card. But yet the Justice card touches on all three people in the spread. And even the knighting here of someone not being, I don't know, someone in the shadows, so to speak, or someone who, I don't know, is making a determination or weighing up something. It's kind of hard to read the energy of that card. Why would he be watching this woman from afar in such in an intimate way, in an intimate setting? Justice over to the seven. That's two sevens between, as if the cards are saying, well, maybe he's got to figure out if the person is real or not, this king. And then we have the knighting of the communications with this queen and an offer. So again, as I say, I'm not exactly sure if this is one woman or not. What the man is thinking about is things to come. The imagery on the death card, he's an old man lying on his deathbed. So I guess we could say that he's trying to determine what changes would he like to, I don't know, have accomplished or seen or experienced before he himself moves on to another plane of existence. This could also be literally that the person is tired of one way of existing and is about to transition into another way of existing. Okay? They're going to lay down a portion of the old life so that they can transform and pick up a new portion of a new life. Now, prominently at the top and in the center are coins, so we could assume that finances are a big part of this. But I am perplexed as to what is happening with the two queens here. Hey, go sit down. Go sit down. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look at really the two queens. Limineo, consolento, sorpresa, and riunione. Whomever this queen represents, there is a definite bond there, a surprising bond that ultimately may lead to a meeting, and or it was such a meeting, they're surprised that the meeting has created this this bond. I really think it says that the bond is there. There's a surprise, perhaps on both parts, that will probably culminate in a meeting. Well, looks like he's met two women, and that is why justice has come out. This speaks to superbia can be someone showing their true colors. The mercante, the businessman, we know that this guy's a businessman. We know that. And I'm not exactly sure if this is speaking to him showing his true colors because he's able to have two chicks, thinks it's a fortunate event, or if it relates to the queen showing her true colors here and him considering whether or not to go forth with this. Now, as I said, I can't tell you if this is two separate women or not, but these are all very, very good cards on these two queens. So let's look at perhaps what the justice is trying to tell us, because ultimately there will have to be a decision to come down. Constance, a faithful return, but dispiacere. There are tears here. This is across the line with the Queen of Wands. So I'm not exactly certain if this means that if the meeting, this we have reunion and we have the trip, a surprise trip or surprise visit. The limineo with the constance indicates that this is a long-term relationship, someone that has known, but that the meeting brings tears. Let's look at the offer. Maybe the offer can tell us something. I don't know what this is referring to. Denaro. Here we have the guy counting his money. So perhaps something went terribly, terribly wrong with some finances, or something, a major loss perhaps, because we have the disgrazia, which is like the tower card, and then the vedovo, as if the cards are saying that whatever this offer was, it depended upon this. We have him counting his money in the center. Some type of financial calamity or event. The death card, maybe that is why the death card has come out. Perhaps this is why the meeting may have been canceled. It still doesn't explain who this queen is. Perhaps for this queen, the meeting was canceled because of this chick, but that still doesn't make any sense if he doesn't have any money. What this says is that if he's banking on this relationship with this Queen of Cups and the offer that he makes, ultimately, it's not going to go well. So he has to start over. Pensiero, gran signore, malinconia. So I think really it comes down to the choices that he makes. Anything comes down to the choices, yes? And then he's got to stop, as I said, he's got to get rid of one way of life and start another way. And he's thinking about, how can I return to being the Gran Signore? The Gran Signore is not just the King of Hearts. He's the king of the hill. You know, he's the top of the top, the cream of the crop, you know. And he's having some difficulty because there have been some changes, I think, perhaps unexpected changes here. And I believe this to be true because, can you see that in the background? That's the tower in this deck. That is the tower. Let's see what's underneath. Well, what do you know? The Eight of Wands. What do you know? So there was a trip. There was a trip, a visit, a meeting. Let's take a look at that right quick. What do you know? What do you know? Okay, well, now this either means, remember I said this indicates, it not indicates, but it speaks to a past relationship, okay? These two cards. A past relationship, constance, a long time, okay? Then the next two set of cards are a surprise visit or a surprise return, and the meeting leads to tears. Here in the center, we have a trip. Someone perhaps returning hurriedly back. Oh, these are, I got them backwards. There we go. The Donna Maritata. The Alegria, as if to say that this was supposed to be a celebration of some sort, perhaps a joyous occasion. But we have the Amalato, the sick person. Let me pull, I want to pull 3 more cards because coming up on the full moon, we have this death card. So what that tells me is that something is going to be changing in this situation. Ha. Well, what do you know? The World card indicates an end of a cycle. If that's not death, I don't know what is. Then we have the Hermit. And there's that King of Wands again. So now this would be 2 kings and 2 queens. And only one is a couple. The King of Wands, the Queen of Wands. I don't know. It's like he went up in flames with both chicks. I don't know. Let's see. But he is the king. So what this says is, after perhaps some readjustment, the world, a cycle, a completion, a new thing, the birth of something new, and a moment of solitude and reflection, he gets his mojo back. And I say that because the domestical, someone trying to come back, but they're doing it in a manner that, really is kind of maybe like with their tail between their legs. The doctore. Now, if we know that the guy has had some financial issues, maybe he has had to go and find a professional to help him with his finances. And this is what helps him to bring his mojo back, because now we have allegrezza al cuore. That is the happiness of the heart. This is completely different kind of happiness than the allegria. This is a celebration with family and friends. We have, in a sense, the mother with the children here. Maybe they just came back together over the, what do you call it? The holiday weekend to celebrate. Perhaps someone had hopes of a reunion, but that did not come to pass, perhaps. But then it's like it's two situations going on. But then if the guy has lost his finances, if he had planned on something with this Queen of Cups, the financial situation has kind of squelched that offer as well. But it looks as though eventually, after he goes back to the drawing board and gets over, it's a death. It's the end of one thing. Maybe the person has to reassess his values, really what's most important. It seems that he's able to come out of it. But I think it's going to be very difficult for him because I have the domestico here. And that's not a very positive card. That's what I have for you. I hope that message helped. And until next time, namaste.